going going over the upper shingle. It's got this pattern is indicative of all of our triangle skylights. The point up triangles get shingled on the right and left with ice and water shield or another underlayment if you're using that. And the point down triangles cover that up. There you can see a diagram of the shingles, and you see we stick another layer of ice and water shield over the leading edge of, well, it's hard to see. You see it over the leading edge of the metal flashing.
It's that line in between here.
So there it goes right there. And it's very important. You want to do that because this is an example of a Windows straight down. You wouldn't have this in any situation be level. You always have it sloping down. You have the metal flashing overlap the other metal flashing. So that's a double layer. And you have the underlayment overlap itself, and you attach the sticky, it's a sticky back layer on the underlayment. That's ice and water shield.
Next is also from Rachel again. She's asking, do you have written documentation I can give the roofer?
Yeah. So here you can see if you go to naturalspacesdomes.com and you go to the dome pricing tab in the middle, you can scroll down and you go down 4 sections, you see the roofing manual highlighted in red. If you go to that, there is an option there to purchase this for a small fee, $30, where you're able to read it yourself and provide it to the roofers. The good thing about looking it over yourself is that if you can visually see if there's a mistake when the roofers are doing it, because it's a pattern. You can see the pattern and it should just be continuous. If you see them doing point down or point up in the wrong order, you're able to say something to them and have them correct it before they're gone. If they do your whole roof and it starts leaking, it could be hard for you to get them to come back right away. It's better to just kind of keep tabs and make sure that everything's right the first time.
Next, we have a few questions from Teddy in Ohio again. He is asking, what do we have compared to the Timberline ledger to support the second floor?
Well, that is a good question. We do not do a ledger. So when they're doing a second floor with Natural Spaces domes, we recommend you just put a rim joist against the dome where your second floor is going to meet it. And then you attach your second floor to that rim joist. You're going to see our second floor system is kind of like a deck. So it's self-supporting. The beams are going to be hidden or placed within walls wherever possible. And then it will be just attached with the rim joist to the dome. We do recommend putting up those interior panels where the rim is going to be attached before putting the rim on. That way you don't have to trim all these panels to install them after the fact. It's a lot easier to just put the rim on and attach that to the struts with the interior panels already there.
What you've been watching are our answer to Timberlines, and that Timberline is a dome company that's out of business for the last year and a half. And this is a custom installation. Holds on to the strut, bolts onto the strut, and holds the rim joist of the second floor on. It's a unique way to do it. This is outside of the structure. And if you want to go back to the main first slide, there's the view that you get. That's the second floor of an open part of the dome.
Quite a view.
Yeah. All right. Teddy also asks, with such good internal airflow, why are the walls so thick, being 1 foot thick?
Yeah, so that's a good question. And the short answer to that is going to be it's because of your building department's code. So code is going to be typically it's R68 is what we're recommending in most places. Most of the dome, they're going to classify as a roof. So all of the triangle sections, that's the roof of your dome, and you're going to need to meet the R value requirement for that roof in your area for the building department to accept your plan.
The value that you see, it says ceiling R value. It's in the middle structure of the dome of this page. This is from the 2021 building code, which is the current code that we're under. There you see zones 0, 1, 2, and 3. 2 and 3 are 49. 1 is southern tip of Florida. That's the only place it is. 2 and 3 are all of the southern states. 4, except Marine Coast, that's where you get involved in R60. And you have to be in R60 in 5 and 6 and 7 and 8. Now they have been, what should I say, politically motivated to keep this at 60. Anything above 60 they feel is not warranted. They also tell you this is the minimum code. So this R60 with us becomes R68 and R72. We are 20 points ahead of the code, 10 points ahead of code, 20%. And we have always been since 40 years ago. When we were R60 before, we now are R70, R72, and R80 is not unheard of.
Yeah, I mean, when you think about it, you don't really want your home or anything you're investing in to just be meeting the minimum requirements. You know, you end up with the minimal structure. Then that's you lose your efficiency.
Yeah.
All right. And then he also asks, what is the most efficient insulation?
Sure.
Well, it's obviously spray foam. Spray foam is the most efficient way to insulate your dome. It is running about, I think, $1.30 or $1.40 a square foot per inch. So you can see in a wall that's, say, a 2x8, which is what we use it as our minimum. It'd be about 7 inches of foam that you'd have. That's going to be $1.30 per inch. So multiply it out and you see it's quite costly, especially in a bigger dome. The second way we do it is the hybrid system. There's a fiberglass bat, which comes in rolls, and it covers the inside of the dome, and you spray foam on the inside of the outside panel. This is done to meet code. There's a certain percentage they have. Zones 3 and 4, I think it's 20%. Yeah, you can see it would get you R49 easily. But when you get into an R60, you're spraying that with foam, all foam, and you have a very hard time. It's cost. If cost is not an object, you can spray.
Yeah, it does give you, spray foam is gonna give you about an R7 per inch, I believe.
Yep.
Whereas fiberglass, you're gonna get like 3.7 to 4, something like that per inch. So it is, nearly twice as effective. With our value, just slightly under twice as effective, but with a much greater cost.
This is a dome in the East Coast, and it's on the ocean or thereabouts. It's in Norfolk Island, and you can see the fiberglass exposed here. And this was a garage, believe it or not, a place there his sailboat is and things on that order. But you would have the fiberglass on the inside, and behind that you'd have spray foam. So there you'd have the best of both worlds.
Also, when you talk about the environmental aspects of both products, safety.
Spray foam is fairly toxic. You do have to wear masks and follow some safety guidelines when installing it. There is some spray foam companies that are offering a more healthy version of the spray foam, but it may have higher costs as well, and how healthy it is, we're not 100% certain of.
Which is partly why we want to use the hybrids, because then you have the fiberglass in front of it to protect the fumes coming through.
And it should be aired out after it is applied in the dome. But the fiberglass, we use enough recycled EcoBat, that's what it's called. But it's a recycled fiberglass option. It's much healthier than even standard fiberglass, and then it's just eco-friendly. It's also not itchy like this regular fiberglass you'll find. We're able to get that in industrial sized rolls. That way you're able to cut full size triangles out and put in just one piece. Also in this photo, you can see here the webbing that they're using. They took some extra deck armor and cut 2-inch, 3-inch strips, and then they just tacked that across the opening like a spider web to hold that fiberglass insulation on the top couple rows there from falling down. That way you can put your panels on easily It does not interfere with that at all. The material is so thin that you just put your panel over it like it's not even there and move on.
And Teddy's final question, with domes being more cost efficient to construct, more efficient to heat, and stronger to quakes and storms, plus the psychological benefits, why are they not more popular?
Yeah. Well, as you can see here is a map of our domes. In the US, we have some outside of the country as well. One of the first ones we did when I worked for Natural Spaces Domes was we shipped a dome to Israel, which was quite cool. Now, I think that as far as being a really mainstream thing, I think that it's just been about public knowledge. And now it seems like more and more people are hearing about them and are interested. We were just in the New York Times about a year ago, and they did a story about how disaster proof they are. And one particular customer, I think it was Louisiana, somewhere where he had been hit by a hurricane before, and he had gotten a dome because of that. We have several domes down in Florida also, and they just do so well in these storms. You know, they'll call and check in on us after they get hit by hurricanes, and they'll say like, oh, we're all fine. It's just minor damage from usually tree branches and things kind of tearing up some shingling. So it's just a little bit of roofing that has to get replaced rather than losing your home.
I think after, people don't really know how popular domes are. And I think we're extremely busy these days. There's a lot of interest. And I think that a lot of the bad information about domes came from the years of of your basic hippie building their own domes and not knowing what they were doing. And that would happen with any house if you didn't, you started in and you don't really know what you're doing when you're building. So I think that could have slowed things down a bit.
I was hippie once.
I know you were, but you were more science oriented.
I was really aware of the code.
Yeah.
For an architect
So-
before I was a dome builder.
So
This is an old map, I should say. It's about 10, 15 years old.
Yeah, so there's more than that. And also you don't see them as much as you're going around because typically, they kind of hide them away. They kind of have them off in nice, lots where they're a little more secluded and with nature because they fit right in with a good nature area. And typically that's why you can drive past them all the time and not even know they were there.
Yeah.
I was just writing an email to someone who's working on building a dome community in Belize, and there's a lot of people that are interested in that sort of thing. There's environmentalists, there's the people that are more technically oriented are interested, architectural people and artists tend to be interested. So it's just a different way of building a home, a different shape, a different design, but it's a much stronger. And I think a lot of the interest now comes because of global warming and pandemics. People found that their homes weren't sufficient and they were uncomfortable living in them. And they wanted a home that gave them space, both width-wise and height-wise and openness. And so I think that's another reason why things are expanding more quickly. So.
Yep.
Have you got some questions going in the chat?
No, there's more to it.
Oh, are there? Oh,
Yeah.
popularity?
Not yet.
Oh,
All
I
right.
thought
Where it's mushroom slide.
We're getting there. Not quite yet.
Yeah.
I
that's
thought
what-
you said you had gotten to the last question, that's why.
Oh,
yeah.
no, we still have.
No, that was
Teddy's
Teddy's.
last.
Yeah.
Yeah, we still have plenty more questions to go.
Okay,
All right.
That's
Next,
Dan Newcomb
the famous
in the
Dan.
right. He's the guru of dome roofing.
Wow, I barely recognize him.
He's a little thinner there. That's an older picture.
speaking of, that brings us to Tim's question from Minnesota. He is asking, are there local companies for hire that can install a 35-foot dome kit to the point of getting it weather tight near Wisconsin?
Yeah, in Danbury,
Mhm.
which is right where Dan Newcomb is located. So it's Dan Newcomb is one of the most experienced dome roofers, and now he's been building full domes. He did 2 last year, and
Go to the next slide.
he's more than capable of helping you out on this project. The only issue will be is how long it will take for him to be able to do it. He is a busy guy, so reaching out to him sooner rather than later is your best bet. But here's a few of his jobs. He's been doing this one. He's got some shipping containers also that they installed on the property and put in there that are a part of this custom build.
We designed this dome to match or to complement with shipping containers. They had a space they were after. The dome is a fairly open dome, and you can see it on the left. It is a big room and a second floor over half of that room.
Hold on. So quickly, Lawrence Wells has a question regarding solar panels. If you'd like to unmute yourself, Lawrence, and tell us your question.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Hey, how are you doing?
I've asked this question before,
Mhm.
and we've come to the solution, or resolution that solar panels, don't work on the dome, and they would have to be, on, that ugly kind of array, in the yard.
Yeah.
I was doing some research, and there is a company in Europe that is doing, those like glamping tents.
Yeah.
And they've developed the solar panels, that fit their dome, triangular, but only for their size dome. They're like tiny, like
Yeah.
like 10 by 10 greenhouse kind of deal. I was wondering, if that is something that you guys are aware of and that's being developed. I can send you, the link to, these guys.
Oh, I was not aware of that. It is something if you could send the link, we'd certainly love to check it out.
We also are in designing, looking at solar panels. We have many customers providing solar panels on the ground. This is a lot easier than on the dome. And on the dome, you're going to get direct sunlight on a portion of the dome. It moves across the sky, as we all know. And it will be on that panel and generate enough solar electricity for a short period of time. So it's not advantageous as far as the dome is concerned. They're doing this with the glamping domes. I would imagine they would build a small section of a dome and provide panels for that, and that would be it.
Yeah, it's about 6 meters, I think, and it is completely covered in solar tiles.
Yeah,
triangular shape. I mean, from top to bottom and completely surrounded with panels.
6
Yeah.
meters, 6 meters is 18 feet in diameter.
but the thing of it is though most of those panels wouldn't actually be collecting good sunlight. So it'd only actually be like a band that kind of goes like arcs up and over the dome.
I would imagine at least 3/4 of the house is not getting, sunlight.
Yeah, and so like for efficiency, like if for our size domes, if we were to do that, you would only want to do like a strip that followed that. Otherwise, it would be overly expensive and just inefficient. And it's still going to be less efficient than say a solar panel that could follow the sun, that the sun's hitting for the majority of the day without much effort.
We did one dome that has solar panels as a balcony rail. So that had the rail 3 feet high. And then it went down below that level about 4 or 5 feet. There were 7-foot panels. And that's another way you can do it. If you got a long bank, so that's something to think about.
Okay, guys, thanks. I'll send you this link. Shoot it to you in an email.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, they are getting more efficient, so you need less big of a solar panel now. I mean, I've seen generators that you basically throw out like a little 3 foot by 3 foot square on the grass, and then you could power more stuff than you would expect with that. But so they are improving to where there will be more viable options, I imagine, in the future.
Okay, cool. All right, guys.
Something to ask about further that question. What about putting it on the top of a cupola? Is that feasible, Dennis?
Well, it is. It's only 15, 18 degrees is sloping. And so again, you're getting the sun beating down on it during the summertime in the middle of the day. In the winter, you wouldn't be getting any solar from that sun. It'd be such a sharp angle, it would be probably 10% of the capacity that you'd have in a summertime. Then you'd be dealing with so much solar panels, so little solar panels, it may not be worth it.
What about on extensions?
That's the perfect one for it. If you had an extension and you cited that right, we've done it. You create solar array going along, and that is at an optimum, or you could change direction. Have to have two shapes, two sections. It's something we're continuing to explore.
Yep.
All right, then it's time for your favorite slide.
Yeah.
The mushroom.
So Kelly from Kansas is asking, how hard would it be to integrate dome homes as weather prep disaster shelters? Like surviving nuclear, biological, windproof up to a minimum of 250 miles per hour.
We designed for 250-mile-an-hour winds, but we have not designed one that's going to go through a nuclear change. If you are in a nuclear situation, it ain't going to survive.
Yeah. No, and then trying to integrate that into pre-existing buildings would be near impossible for the most part, or certainly not cost effective.
Setting a wind to 200 miles an hour, 250 miles an hour is possible, and we've done it. 100 mile an hour, we had 120 mile an hour winds here in Minnesota the other night. And 130, 140 is the wind speed along the ocean, the coastal areas around New York all the way to Florida. That's pretty easy to deal with. Biological, I don't know how you would adapt a dome to do it. There's too many ways that you'd have get in. Last night we had a
House cricket.
house cricket, and I wasn't going to live through hearing
I
that
don't know if you've
noise.
ever had one, but they make a lot of noise.
But I found it where it was located, and I sprayed it with.
Which we don't normally do,
normally
but this was,
this made too much.
when I read up on it, it said it could last 8 to 10 weeks just on its own.
You're thinking this could only be a couple days. It's
It had already gone for 3 days, but
Geez.
anyway, yeah, so.
Next, we have Kimberly in Tennessee. She lives near the Chattanooga area. She's asking, do we help find builders for those of us who are not going to do the heavy lifting?
Yeah, so we do get asked that often, it seems, but we can help to a certain point. As far as if we'll have a dome builder in the area that's just been building, it depends how long it's been since the last dome was built in that area. Sometimes it might be 10 years or something. Maybe that contractor just is not working anymore. But we do recommend and can help you with is getting lumber yards in the area, reaching out to them and describe your project and ask them for a couple contacts that they would recommend to do the project for you. And then just reach out to them, give them that information about your project, and hopefully they can get a quote for you. Also, you can always give them our number to reach out to us, and we can help answer any questions they may have. If they have any, they might have something they're not 100% sure how it works, but typically we can walk them through it. And usually it's just an unknown and they kind of know the right way. They just want a little reassurance. So any good contractor will be good for building the dome.
We also have the construction manual, and often people have come to dome school with their contractor. So that's another thing that can happen. But we have been really just, once Emma settles in, that's one of her chores. She's got a lot of chores right now, but just plain searching for contractors all over the country. That's what we're trying to do, develop a list of people that are interested. So we're working at it.
Right. Next, we have Deborah from New York. She's asking, will we help locating available land?
So that's a little bit beyond our limits. So we just cannot help you find your land. It'd be too difficult for us, and we don't have time. So you have to find your building site. Once you get your land, we may be able to help you find some contractors to work with, but you are going to have to do this part on your own. Find out where you want to live.
We can certainly help you select a site from choices. That we do quite often.
All right.
Find a couple options and send them to us if you're questioning it.
All right, next we have Heidi from Washington. She has two questions here. The first one, she said that they built their custom geodesic home 40 years ago, and they've been dropped by their insurance company for the second time. What do we do about that? Who can help them?
Oh, so here you can see a photo of an insurance company located in White Bear Lake, where I grew up, actually. And they're in a dome. So this is McNamara Company. You can see their information is above the photo, so you can give them a call, talk to them about your home and getting insurance. They should be pretty good with you.
All right. Also, she asked, who does dome roofs? I can't find anyone local. They all say good luck.
Yes. Well,
He's in Seattle area.
Mhm.
so here again, I find that I imagine you're probably like looking up roofers online and stuff, and sometimes it's best to try and reach out to some lumber yards or roofing providers and ask them for a couple suggested contractors to talk to. Usually if you describe your project, they already kind of know who would be interested in doing that, or just that they know who their top 3 people they would recommend are.
Can I go back to the previous slide? This is from our map. These are our domes in Seattle, just our domes. There were a couple, 2 or 3 dome companies in existence for many years, and there's quite a few domes besides ours in Seattle area. And we have a new dome going up, and it's always familiar to someone if they're oh boy.
Dennis, for those of you that are new, Dennis had a stroke about 1.5 years ago, and those of you that have been sitting in can see how he has improved so much.
Yeah,
But every once in a while, finding a word is not an easy thing to do because he has aphasia. So
finding a word is a complication of
aphasia.
the disease I have, and it's this conventional building, conventional structures like right now. But going at it with the dome, as far as the dome history is concerned, I don't have any problem at all.
Talking about
Talking
things.
about domes.
It's
going back-
permanently embedded in his brain.
And I was redlining plans in the hospital while I was getting a change of base.
So anyway, in
But-
regard to roofing, back to roofing again, I think that people just have to understand that it's a roof. It's just bigger. And we have been we do what we call Zoom raisings that people can have for doing their dome raisings. And we're contemplating doing the same thing for roofing, for roofers, creating a Zoom situation for that first day when they get started to help them out if they need advice. You know, we're just available at any time to see what they're doing, essentially, through a Zoom call or FaceTiming or something like that.
Yeah.
For a small fee, it's not expensive, but it's worthwhile when you first get started.
But you all these domes in the area that are ours. There's also a ton of cathedral-like domes. and Monterey Domes over here in Seattle. There's too many domes for there not to be roofers who are roofing these domes, because a lot of them have been there since the 80s or possibly earlier, and they've needed to get their roofs replaced. So there's a contractors doing this in your area. You just got to reach out to those lumber yards and find them.
Mhm.
Okay, so we have 3 more questions, and that is from Amy in Minnesota. We met her in Dome School. Amy, just so you're aware, questions 1 through 4, we will have to answer with a consultation as they're a little too specific to your job, but we will answer the last 3. So the next question we have, does the concrete contractor do in-floor heating, or does that require a separate contractor before the cement is poured?
Yeah, so that's a good question. The concrete contractor is not going to do the in-floor heating system. There would be a separate contractor unless it was a general contractor that you had doing your concrete. Then that contractor may be doing this. But a concrete contractor is typically not going to do this for you.
This is a floor system. We back up 1 slide. This is the floor in the middle of our dome here, Bear Creek Dome. And we selected 5 types of insulation: the 1 inch, the 2 inch, the 4 inch styrofoam, and then 2 kinds of bubble wrap.
Which was in at the time.
And that was installed in the time. There are 2 layers of 2 heads of temperature testing, and we can run it through our computer, and we come up with an answer, and the answer is 4 inches of styrofoam should be done. We're stopping the heat from going down, which is what you don't want. You get those contractors that built in the 70s and 80s put 15 inches of sand and no barrier. They figured they had to heat the sand. Well, heated partly, mostly they heated the earth. It didn't work as well. So we learned our lessons from that. We have to, this is the, that's the
Plumbing?
fireplace.
Oh,
This is where the test tube comes up. That pipe comes up. All the temperature probes are in that, and that's on the desk in the other room by the computer. Where you have a large area, you can leave it away. You leave it undone. But if you had 1 inch or 2 inch, this is put in by our own crew. We do, well, at the time, we did this by ourselves.
but the thing is, I mean, there's a contractor that can do it for you, but they also design it. The design is the most, is important.
Yeah,
And one of the things you have to consider in the design is not heating where you don't need it. Or like if you know where your bed's going to be, you might not want a whole bunch of heat right around your bed. You might want to keep your bed cooler. So those are kind of considerations when you talk to the person who's designing it. Or like around cabinetry. Like I have a little problem with where I keep my onions and potatoes. They sprout too easily because it's too warm right there. And I never would have thought of that ahead of time, so now you know.
All right, next, we might need some clarification from you. But her next question is the front-facing window and door section of the mini dome, which is shown here, are the walls, does the window and door section of the mini dome have the wall depth and insulation similar to the dome triangles and struts? Let's see. If you're there, Amy, which I don't think she's there, she might not be able to clarify her question. So we can maybe come back to that one. Next, which will be our final question here. How many mini domes are in Minnesota, and is it possible to visit sometime?
Well, there is one in northern Minnesota, so mini dome, kind of close to Canada. Other than that, we have one in Arizona and in California, and there's probably one place I'm forgetting. But the mini dome is rather newer, so there's not as many of them as our standard domes. As far as going to go visit it, that's something that we would have to reach out to that person and see if they're interested in doing so.
This is the back side of their dome. They bought a mini dome to add on to their existing dome. That's their existing dome. And this, is there one more slide? Yeah, there.
On their mini dome, they have this extension coming off the front with that you see here. So above that first roof section where the mouse is, you can see there, that is the peak of the mini dome as we normally see it. But he has that walkout in front of it. This is something that Amy was also asking about, having a mudroom in front, and here's an example of having an extension running off the front from that entrance.
Which, for example, would be
like that.
in this area.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. And that leads us to our last slide here.
I'm going to end on all of our domes across the country here from 12 or 15 years ago. So there's quite a few more now.
Yeah.
Some of these places you couldn't add another dot. So
you wouldn't see it any other way.
Yeah.
Have any last questions?
Minnesota has western Wisconsin and eastern Minnesota, where we're located in Minneapolis, St. Paul area. There are 300 plus domes in this area. And yet you find people that, oh, I don't have one near us.
They can't see them.
You can't see them.
Oh. Yeah, I thought I passed one on my school bus to 9th grade. But it turns out there was a second one block before that I never saw until I worked here and went there to do some work on their house. So it's amazing how hidden they are, or can be.
All right. Do we have any final questions from the chat? Or if you'd like to speak up, go for it.
I'd like to ask some questions. Did everyone, when they signed up to register, did they get a reply with the link in it, or did you have to use the ones we sent separately? How did that work? Because we were just really having problems with our sending out our getting the emails to work right. Because like I'm not, for instance, getting the responses that I normally get, showing the questions, showing that sort of thing. Did everyone feel like they were satisfied. If you didn't, raise your hand. If you didn't get the information, can you?
It was better than last month.
Okay, yeah, last month.
I think they are definitely getting that link. We just weren't getting the little email that had their question in it. So that just has to be updated a little bit on our end. So.
Okay, good. It was working perfectly for a while and then rang go, so.
We're working on updating our map too. That's a matter of sending out a response to all of the people on our list, which total 3,000 or so.
So, if you do ever, when you're at a point where you might want to get started on things, what you need to do is kind of set up a time for a consultation and discuss the type of dome that you think you want and where you're going to be and what size it's going to be. And we really like to have an estimate of a budget, because it allows us to tell you when we think it's going to be more expensive, because people tend to have their dreams and want to add it in, but it ends up quite often being more than they can afford. So we like to be able to tell people as they go along how they're doing on their budget. And we have an order of designs, the steps. And so I think, the first thing you would do is set up that consultation. I mean, obviously, the first thing you do is decide what you want. You really need to have your land, and just email us and we'll be glad to set something up and talk with you. So anybody else have any other questions? And just email us too if you think of something.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Sorry, I had some audio problems, so so I missed some of the portions. But did you ever receive my 2 short questions?
We did. They just came in late yesterday after the deadline, but I just, when I saw them today, I didn't have time to look into it yet. I have to figure out which one can fit in the panel. I just don't even know the size of the panel off the top of my head. So I'll get you some answers to that and just send you an email.
Okay, and the other one was generically for everyone. Like, have you ever had customers or domes
Yeah,
with the wood, like the VSE, the wood version, or is that something that's not ordered very often?
it's not ordered very often. I don't think that it's happened since I've been here, so that's another one I didn't know the answer to right away, and I'd have to look at it.
Okay, great. Thank you so much for looking into that.
Yep, no problem.
Okay, well, we enjoyed it and hope you did, and hope to see you next month.
Yeah. Thanks everybody for joining and submitting your questions. Have a great day.
Bye-bye.
Take care.